Look, every extremely wealthy person, I'm looking around the room if I see anybody I recognize, every extremely wealthy person is a welfare state unto themselves, right? If you're an extremely wealthy person, that means that your parents were able to create the equivalent of a welfare state around you. At which point you grow up and say, well, nobody needs the welfare state. That's the way the game is played. And you deny the welfare, you define the welfare state, health care, child care, complex education. You define those things as being out of bounds, right? Even though you had them all yourself. And so by hero of negative freedom, I mean Trump is somebody who's like that and who pushes the logic of negative freedom so far that it actually helps us to see how wrong it is. Because obviously you can't start, I start this book by thinking about the predicament of every infant. Like that's where I start. If you start by thinking of the predicament of every infant who inherits $200 million, right, then you're writing a very different book. And that book is, Trump's America. If everybody inherited $200 million and that somehow wasn't incredibly inflationary, then we'd be fine. But that's not the way things are. If barriers are the only problem, then this is the second point. If barriers are the only problem, who's going to do better in that situation? If we knock down government, if we make government small, is that going to be great for all the infants, or is that going to be great for all the oligarchs? The oligarchs know perfectly well the answer to that question, which is why they want to knock down government and make it small. It's not that they don't want power; it's that they want to have the power. It's not that they have a principle; it's they have a practice, and the practice is when government gets small, we get big. Power abhors a vacuum. They're going to fill up the power when government gets small. That's the second point. And the third way that he's a hero of negative freedom is that, again, if freedom is only negative, you don't have to, if it's just a matter of the barrier and not the person, you don't have to ask what's true and good. And Trump shows you where that goes. If nothing is true and good, then we can lie. We can make stuff up. We can create chaos. And that's the way we can run an election, right? And what's going to stop us? Freedom is just negative. Nothing's true. Nothing really matters.
Okay, one last question for me, and then I'm going to turn to the audience.